Welcome to my channel, Pomni Theory. Like and subscribe to my channel. I feel like the direction of them not being humans or just being a copy of humans is wrong. Looking at the desk, it's empty and has nobody there. It's not because a human isn't even in there. It's because maybe their bodies are also transported as well. But why would the headset be off to the side? If their bodies are transported into the digital world, why wouldn't the VR headset just fall to the ground? I think that maybe the people are intentionally stuck in the amazing digital circus. Once their consciousness is transported, someone puts the headset off to the side because it isn't needed anymore. This would also explain why a human wouldn't be there, since it isn't necessary to them being in the digital world anymore. Another thing unexplained is that when Pomni is in the exit and finds the computer off, all of the other computers are on. Why would this one be off, and what are the other computers? My theory is that every computer represents everyone in the digital world. Maybe they all worked in the same office building, or they all went into the digital world from the same room at least. If that's the case, maybe they willingly went in. Now, why would the computer Pomni's attached to be off, while at the end, it's on? I think it's because Pomni was in the exit maze, while everyone else is still in the circus. Another theory I have is about escaping. There are two ways I feel like this could go. The most obvious one is that the void leads you out of the digital world and back to real life. First of all, Kane doesn't know what's out there. Him not knowing might be because he is an AI and can't leave. So he was probably programmed to never go out there, and to keep people from going out there. Funny how he could probably see everything, but he only pays attention and gets notified when they're leaving through the void. His job is to keep everyone there, so it makes sense for his top priority is to make sure they don't leave. My other theory is one that most people probably haven't thought of. Note, this theory was not my original idea. I saw someone on TikTok talk about this first. I don't remember their age, but if this post is ever relevant, I'll credit them. I think that maybe the way to escape is by abstracting. Think about what abstractions look like and what they do. When Kaufmo hits Ragatha, she starts glitching out. The way abstractions look like one massive bug or glitch. The eyes on them might be the code trying to gather stuff that it's familiar with. Eyes are all over the circus, so it's something the program knows. Abstractions also move around and take action. Destructive ones, sure, but it's probably code trying to figure out what to do. Now think about why the program would be glitching. Kaufmo went insane, obviously, so he might be aggressive just because of that. But it doesn't seem like anyone is conscious in there. There's no soul attached to it. Why would there be no soul attached to what used to be Kaufmo? Because that's how you escape. What the code needs is an avatar and human conscious to put you into the digital world. If the human conscious left, the code won't know what to do, so it would probably glitch out and cause abstractions. It would make sense for the abstraction not to be acting like Kaufmo. At least from what we hear about him, we don't have a clear personality. Because it isn't Kaufmo, he escaped. Maybe it's the people running the program. The people who put the headset to the side and is probably CNA TLDR. They're all transported there on purpose. The computer is off because Pomni isn't at the circus. The other computers belong to everyone else and is on because they're still at the circus. The void could be an exit, and abstracting could also be an exit. So also, I have a couple theories about TADC, and there isn't a lot of evidence for some of them, but I think they're good starting points for when we get more content to work with in the future. Plus, I think they're neat, so have fun, I guess. To start off, I'd like to take a moment to talk about Kinger and how he might not actually be crazy. Unstable? Maybe. But crazy? Hold on to your socks for this one, kiddos. This theory, I think, is the one that is most likely to be canon, and while there is really only so much evidence for it, I think it's pretty strong given that the pilot only has 25:45 to try to push as much content as possible, which leaves us with surprisingly little to put together for theories that aren't essential to the main plot of the show. You see, I think everyone overlooks how he legit says, "Did somebody say something about an insect collection?" as his first line, and then later on says, "I think it's some sort of insect collection," when referring to the Gloinks and the Gloink Queen, which implies that perhaps he isn't crazy. In fact, I believe he might be spoiled instead, a term Kane references when Pomni is in the void, because it implies that Kinger knows spoilers from the future or has future vision, or maybe even travels back and forth in time. Quite frankly, it might be the only thing actually keeping him from abstracting and going crazy for real. For my second theory, I present that I believe that all of our characters worked at CNA in some capacity, except for maybe Jax. Not a big jump. I mean, it would make sense. How else would they get transported into the world of TADC? But why wouldn't Jax be an employee there? Why did I single him out? I did so purely to propose theory number 3, that I believe Jax is a hacker, someone who is trying to steal information or game code from the game TADC in the real world. Specifically, I believe this is supported by him having keys to everyone's rooms, his nonchalant attitude, just how suspicious he is in general, and by the fact that he seems to be the only one among them who might actually experience hunger stats. What the HE double hockey sticks am I talking about? Well, on to theory number 4 we go. And I know it is a bit of a jump, but I believe there is a distinct possibility that Jax, unlike the rest of TADC crew, experiences hunger stats. You see, there is the joke at the end of the episode where Jax says he is hungry, and Kinger goes on to explain how the food in the digital circus doesn't actually do anything for them. It just gives off the sensation of eating, which is played off as a funny joke. But the conversation doesn't fade out until they finish making that point, and Jax comments, "Since when are you an expert on the digital world?" And I find that line very important, and we'll reference it later. My point is that the conversation is very important world building. You might ask, but why would you take that conversation mean that Jax experiences hunger? It doesn't, at least not by itself. You see, in the beginning of the episode, when Zubli is taken by Gloinks, Jax's response is, "Oh no, they killed Zubli. Anyways, anybody want to get something to eat?" This implies that either Jax just likes eating because he is bored, which might very well be in character for him given his attitude, or maybe it means that Jax is actually hungry. Maybe he is hungry throughout the entire episode. Maybe Jax is the one character that's built different and needs to eat. And now for a rough transition to theory number 5. Remember that line I said ID reference again? This is it now. And just to remind you, it's...
Sheesh, lay off it. Since when are you an expert on the digital world?
Expert on the what?
a line from Jax directed at Kinger. And I believe that it's there to emphasize the argument between Jax and Kinger, as well as imply that they both have an understanding of the digital world. Jax I've already theorized as a hacker, but where would that put Kinger? I said that everyone else worked at the company that developed TADC, so that's a clue. That's right. Time for one last jump. I believe Kinger was one of the OG developers of TADC or one of the CEOs of the corporation behind its development. Someone who has a distinct understanding of how digital reality, coding, and computers work, but is slowly losing any knowledge he has from the past as a side effect of being spoiled. And that's it. 5 partially formed theories, some of which are stronger than others, but all of which I hope we get to see proven or disproven as we get more content from Gooseworks, Glitch, and everyone won the TADC crew. Thank you for watching me. Stay in touch, subscribe.